Alrighty. Well, I went into Costco the other day to buy a replacement for my old TV, and all I needed was, 43 inch, 50 inch, but they had a 55 inch Hisense that had the 4K screen with HDR capability, and it was only $300. So I went ahead and got that one just because how bad can it be for $300? And got it home and realized the stand I was going to put it on was not wide enough for where they had put the feet. So got one of these guys off of Amazon, and I'm going to put it on the back of that thing and hopefully solve my problem. This was only another $20, so hopefully it will do the trick. And so it says somewhere around here, open this end. All right. Well, not sure why that matters. There you go. I just try to follow the directions and you end up ripping the box underneath. There it goes. Alright. So that's what it comes with. It's basically has these little feet that come with it, and the monitor arms are, or supports. Nice one piece. I saw quite a few that were two pieces that needed to be assembled. Instructions, I mean, how hard can it be? There were some reviews on Amazon that said it was wobbly. I'm not sure why they would come out wobbly. Some of the reviewers said to put the left feet on the right side and the right feet on the left side, and it won't wobble. I'll play with that and see what happens. And then, of course, all the hardware. To assemble the thing. And various size nuts and spacers. So that hopefully, whatever TV you have, you'll find a way to make it fit. And more cheap tools. I must have a collection of dozens of those at this point. Anyway, that's it. I'm gonna install that on the TV and get it in place, and then maybe do some videos about the quality of the picture for regular and standard and HD color. So that ought to be it. We'll get back to it later. Alright, well, let's see how I do here. I think I have it set up reasonable, and I'm going to show you what I did to adjust this TV. I downloaded some patterns from the AVS forum and put them on the USB stick so the media player can use them, and I'm going to go into that. And then we're going to
let's just do all. And first the standard patterns, basic, so black clipping, play it. And so this actually has the brightness set a little bit too high, and so, but for a bright room that might be better. And so what I have right now is normal, because I like that, low power mode, auto, dynamic contrast is off, normal color temperature, and back up to that a little bit. So I did that instead of warm, just because I thought, for, like it says there, general viewing, I think for most things it looked better, and I don't want to mess with it all the time. And I have a dog in the background. Be quiet. That's enough. And so fine-tuning the picture. This is what I have with the low power. And so the brightness I had turned up because I had a brighter room. But if we go to the default setting of 50, that's actually really pretty good. But because I'm normally in a little brighter room, I had it set to 55. And then so that's that. So let me go back to the main menu, and we'll look at the white clipping. And that one's pretty good. I don't know how well this is showing up on the camera, but hopefully this all is. And if I go to the settings and fine tune, and here you would adjust the contrast. So I had turned the contrast down because if I had it, I think the default is 100, and you can see how it doesn't go all the way up to the reference white. And so right about, I think 90 was pretty good. It goes a little bit over, but it's pretty good. So that's how I adjusted the standard color. And then there's, I'm going to get a rough idea. Where was that? Is it here? Color steps, color clipping. So this gives you an idea at the high end of the 3 separate colors. Red is a little bit strong, and the green and the blue are pretty close to where they should be. But it's not bad. And this TV doesn't give you a lot of fine adjustments, so it's pretty good where it is. Now, what about the HDR settings? So off of the AVS website, you'll find these patterns, and for HDR, you should see in the upper corner when I hit the black level, it should tell you that it goes into HDR mode, and you should see flashing bars all the way down to 64, and it doesn't quite get there. So if I go to the picture menu again, and you'll see here, this is HDR dark, and the backlight is all the way up, and the brightness is at the default value. So if I turn up the brightness, and it starts to look really bad. almost gray instead of black before you start seeing those bars. Like I said, I don't know if those showing up on the camera or not, but that's really not very good in my mind. So I left it at the default of 50. Because that gets me, I mean, if I can, for me, that gets it down to 68. So I miss a few at the very bottom. But what if I tried a different HDR mode? I can go normal, and it doesn't really change anything as far as getting blacks. And if I go bright, that doesn't really change anything. It just changes it from the color temperature more than anything. So I like dark best. Dynamic contrast is off. Color temperature is warm. Changing that doesn't really help me get better blacks. So that's kind of what I got stuck with for how dark, what kind of blacks can I get out of this thing. It's okay, but it's not great. And so if I go back, so that's where I ended up with that. And then for the white levels, and this TV, I forget the rating on it. It doesn't quite hit 1,000 nits, if I remember correctly. But we'll see how, where we can get with showing the full range. So went back to HDR. So you might be able to see this gets up to, I mean, from my eye here, it gets up to almost 900. And so I go into the fine tuning, and I have the contrast is all the way up. Now if I turn the contrast down, it doesn't really do much. So that one I just left where the default of 100 is. In the color helps a little bit. If I turn the color up to the default value, what is it, 45 was it? Yeah, 45. Then you see the reds get kind of crushed. So I didn't like that. And so I turn it down to where the reds start to look about the same. So maybe 30 was what it was. Yeah, 30. I want to go as high as I can on the color. Yeah, I think 35 is actually looking pretty good to my eye right now. Blue, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to keep it at 30. I'll think about that. I might change it. And tint didn't really do me any favors, so tint is the same as it always was. So that is basically what I did to get the TV adjusted as basically as good as possible. Now the let's see, where is that? Okay, now I don't remember what this is. Oh, okay. So here is a video that they included, so you can kind of see. I'll just play a little bit of this. So the difference between an HDR version of this may or may not show up. And this is kind of a nice scene to where you can usually see a difference between SDR and HDR. And this one helps you. It's like inside the booth, you should still be able to make out detail if it's not crushing the whites. Anyway, and then the exact same thing with standard color. Still looks pretty good. And honestly, to my eye, I can't tell the difference between the HDR video and the SDR video. So, but it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Now I'm going to go to the Xbox and show you how I adjust that. Alright, so we're going to go into the Xbox. Oh, that's kind of cool. I haven't played with this very much. So if I go into settings, and let's just make that there. So from there, TV and display options, and calibrate TV, and we'll just kind of walk through this real quick. And so you can kind of, I don't know, you probably can't make it out, but I can see the dark closed eye. I can see that. So the TV is adjusted pretty close to correct for standard color. Looks good there to me. And then here on the top box, I can see the sun. So the contrast looks like it's about right. And then there, and again, same here. Again, you know, that's all looks good. And so I don't have a blue filter on this TV, so it, you know, I'm just gonna live with what it is. And it's done. Now for the HDR, and it should go to HDR mode, and next, and here the box in the middle there, I should see a checkerboard pattern, and I don't, which kind of goes along with before. I had some blacks that weren't showing, but on the Xbox I can adjust how the Xbox translates that, so I can see the darkest darks. And so I'm going to hit the brighter button until I just see, there they are, just a couple levels. That was 3. So if I go down 1, 2, 3, they disappear. 1, 2, I can kind of see them on 2. I'm going to go 1 more. And now I can see them. I don't know if you can. I'll find out later when I review this video. And then the checkerboard pattern, wow, is really dark, which kind of surprises me. So maybe, yeah, that's really interesting. I wonder if I went to picture settings, if I could have done anything with the actual television. Could I have made the, well, if I made it brighter, then the darks would have started to looking gray to me, and I didn't want that. And the contrast is already all the way up, and the backlight is already all the way up, so I can't really do much else with that. And if I go to to HDR mode, it doesn't really change. And then normal brightness, I could go brighter, doesn't really help. So I'm really stuck with interesting, having to just make it brighter through the Xbox menu. And so we're just going to keep going until that starts to disappear. It's quite a few levels. And so for me, I can still barely see them, but I'm going to stop there and I'm going to go next. And now here, it's even more so. So here I got to go brighter again. Right, yeah, I can, yeah, right about there. And then next. And on this TV, to my eye, the left and the right image look the same. So I'm not sure. I've seen people doing these videos where, well, there is a small difference. It's very slight. Some people have shown them calibrating and the left and right images are dramatically different. So I'm going to do it one more time just to see how this all came out. And next. And so I don't think I need to change that. I can still see the checkerboard pattern, just barely, but it's there. And this, if I go down 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'm going to leave that the same. I can just barely make out a checkerboard pattern. It says to go till they all have the same brightness, but it's really hard to know when you've gone too bright, I think, without having instrumentation to tell you whether you're there or not. And then this one, 1, 2, yep, 1, 2. This I'm going to leave the same. And so I'm done. That's pretty much it for how I would do the Xbox. And so, you know, this is probably the least expensive UHD HDR TV out there. And it's not bad. Given that very little of what I do needs a huge amount of fidelity, or whatever you want to call it. Let's see let's see, do I have, well, I'm not going to show specific games, because even so within the games there's a little more adjustments that each individual game can give you. But let's just see. If I go to games and see all, and oops, let's do this one. Well, let's see. I think this loads faster. Getting your game ready. Oh, there must be an update going on. Now what's it doing? I love this stuff. There, it went to HDR. And what else can I say? Oh, the uniformity of the screen, you know, is not bad. There's a little brightness around the edges, but other than that, across the screen, it's pretty well uniform. It's not bad. So I'm pretty happy with, you know, a budget TV looking as good as it does is really nice. Let's see here. We'll skip this.
Press A button to start.
Yeah. Syncing data. I guess I haven't had this game loaded for a little while. And you'd go to options and video. And here, brightness. You can adjust your HDR peak brightness, and they call it paper white. But they give you an image on the right side here to move that up and down. And so, you know, you can run that all the way up, run it all the way down, and I guess you go until you feel like you're losing some detail in the brights. So I think 1,000 is pretty good for this. And then paper white, I need to look up what that actually means. I think it's probably like how dark is the darks, and so I lose stuff that way. But you know, I think the default was 200, and I'm just going to leave it there. So basically, that's what the games look like. They all seem to have those two HDR adjustments, the couple of games I've looked at. So there you go. Can't think of what else to say about this TV. I like it. It's pretty good. And not sure that I'm critical enough in my viewing that it would have been worth it for me to spend more money on a better television. That's about it.